So now we need to prepare our system, our host system, to install Antidetect. What we need to do now? The first, we need to enable the test mode. In Antidetect, we will install few drivers on our host system, and those drivers have no Microsoft signature. That means the Windows will block the installation. So we need to set the test mode. What we need to do now? First, we will press right mouse button on the start and select this option, Windows PowerShell Admin. Go to the PowerShell, and inside the PowerShell you see those PS. That means we are in the PowerShell console. We need to go to the command line. Just type cmd and press enter. Now we are on the command line. So in the system32 folder, we will input something like this: bcd edit set test signing on, and press enter. You will see the operation completed successfully. After that, you will need to restart your computer, and you will see, like on your screen now, the test mode. On the right corner of your screen will be label of the test mode and your Windows version. Sometimes you will see, after you will input those commands, you will see the next attention, that operation was blocked. Why? The first, you need to check that you launched PowerShell and our command line from the admin. And the second, sometimes the BIOS of your PC will block the test mode. If it happens, you need to go to the BIOS and found the option, name it security boot or secure boot. When you find those options, usually it's on the boot menu. When you find those options, you need to set it to disable, and after that, restart your PC, go to the PowerShell, go to the command line, and those operations will be completed successfully. So this is our first move. After we go to the test mode, after we see in the right corner the test mode label, we will close our PowerShell, and after that, we have an exe file of Antidetect system. Now we need to install digital certificates. How and what we need to do? Press right mouse button on the exe file and go to the properties. In the properties, you need to go to the digital signatures, and you will see two certificates. You see them right now. Select the first certificate and go to the details. Then after, you go to the view certificate and install certificate button. After that, select store location, local machine, click next, yes, and after, you must select this, place all certificates in the following store, and click on the browse button. You must find the certificate store, which name it Trusted Root Certification Authorities. Click OK and click next. Next, finish, OK. The import was successfully. After that, you must do the same things on the second certificate. So details, view certificate, install certificate, local machine, browse button, trusted root, OK, next, finish, OK, OK, OK. So after you go to the test mode, after you install certificates, you will be able to install the Antidetect system. Before we will start using Antidetect system, we need to download the Windows image file, because we need this because we need to install the Windows inside our virtual machine. So first we go to the browser and go to the Google. Type download Windows 10, and after the search result will appear, you will see the first link on the Microsoft website, microsoft.com. You go to this website and you will see this page. On this page you can find the link, the button which name it download tool now. If you press here, you will see that the media creation tool 1903 will be opened, and you can save it on your PC or click cancel. If you will save it, the additional Microsoft software will be on your PC, and if you like it, you can save it. If you don't like it, you can just click cancel. On your keyboard, press F12, find those icon which name it responsive design mode, click on it, select the device Galaxy S9 for example, reload the page, and you see we can choose the edition of our operating system. So we'll click select edition and select edition which was created by 10 May of 2019. Select this, click confirm. After that we choose the language, English International for example, click confirm, and this is the direct link to the ISO image file. So you can just press here and you see you can directly download it from the microsoft.com without using some kind of media creation tool. So if you need to do this, you can just click save it and click OK. After we install our Antidetect, after we download the Windows image file, we can start work. So on desktop you must find Antidetect public shortcut, and here you see we have no virtual machine right now. So first we need to create our mothership system. What it means mothership system you will find out a little bit later. So click on the new button, and after that we must choose the name. You can type the name, any name that you want. For example, in my case it will be V10 base. It's very important. If in the version menu you will see only Windows 10 32-bit, that means the virtualization was disabled in the BIOS. You must go to the BIOS and find something like Intel Virtualization Technology, all VTX, and set it to enable. After that, you will be able to use the Windows 10 64-bit. So the virtualization is already enabled on my PC, so I can go next. So click next. The second our move is select memory size. The recommended memory size to virtualize Windows 10 is 4 GB. If you have less than 4 GB, don't use my software. So we have a lot of RAM, so we select, for example, 8 GB. Yeah, something like that. And click next. The third move is to create the hard disk. So click the create. The type of the hard disk will be VDI, don't change it. Click next. The type of the disk, dynamically or fixed. You can just leave the dynamically allocated. Click next and just create button. So now the base of our mothership system was successfully created, but one more move. Click right mouse button on the name, select the settings, go to the display, and I recommend you to set more than 128 megabytes. For example, it will be 1 gigabyte. And click OK. After that, we can start and install our Windows. Now the base for the virtual machine was created, so we can start Windows installation. Select V10 base and click the start button. don't pay attention about those windows, it's debug windows, only on my PC. So now, if you see this text, that means we need to input here the image of our Windows, which we are downloaded from the Microsoft.com. We go to the devices, optical drives, and click choose disk image. If you already choose it, you will see them just here. So I select the optical drive, you see, and after that we go to machine and set reset. So now Windows installation will start. In Windows installation process, we have one simple trick. You must turn off your internet. How to do it? You don't need to turn off internet on your host machine. You can just turn off internet inside your virtual machine. Just click, you find this icon, yeah? Click the right mouse button and select Connect Network Adapter. After that, after the icon color was gray, that means there is no internet inside the virtual machine right now. It's very important because if you will let the internet go, after installation will be finished, the process of your personality creation will start, and all of your telemetry data and your unique ID will be transferred to the Microsoft servers. And after the handshake between your virtual machine and between the Microsoft server, you will be unable to do really good telemetry spoofing. So it's very important. You must understand, we will install Windows without the internet inside our virtual machine. So let's start it. Just click next, install now. We don't have a product key, so we just click here. I don't have a product key. Select the Windows edition. I recommend you to choose Win 10 Pro or Win 10 Home, as you wish. Click next. Accept the license terms. Click next. Custom installation. And click next. After that, the installation process was started, so you have a few minutes to get a cup of tea. Now the installation process was finished, so we can eject the Windows image file. We go to the devices, optical drives, and click remove disk from virtual drive. After that, the user personality creation process was started. So we will select our region, click yes. We select keyboard layout, click yes. No additional layout, click skip. And you see the installation process, user creation process, tell us that we have no internet. So we click here, skip for now, and here click no. Go forward. Now we need to set our username. For example, it can be just a user, just a regular username. Click next. Password, I recommend you to not set up a password. Click next. Make Cortana your personal assistant. I recommend you to decline it. And device history, also we click no. We don't need cross-device history. And after that, the privacy, our virtual machine privacy. We select all yes and click accept. We will not block the telemetry data. We will spoof the telemetry data. And it's our key to the success to defeat the anti-fraud system. Now we need to wait a few moments while the user creation process was finished. Now user creation process was finished, so we have a blank virtual machine, and now we go to set it up. So first I recommend you to get set new resolution. We'll select the maximum, keep changes. After that, delete those unnecessary things like a Cortana, like a Windows Store, like an email, and the Edge. We don't need it right now. So now we have fully blank operating system and without the internet. So first, what we need to do, we go to the devices. We need to install our additional software. We go to devices and select this insert Guest Addition CD image. For example, I will now show you. We go to my computer. You see there is no CD in CD drive. Go to devices, insert Guest Addition CD image, and now the virtual image which is included in the Antidetect software was injected to our virtual machine. Go here. Now we will open those CD. What is the Guest Additions? The Guest Additions is drivers. Drivers for the GPU, for the bidirectional clipboard, and many other things. But we don't need to install Guest Additions inside our mothership system, because when we will create our clone, each time we create the clone, each time the hardware will change. So each time we must install Antidetect Windows Additions one more time. So there is no sense to install Antidetect Additions in our mothership system, but we must pay attention about this folder named Tools. Here I insert few usable tools to set up our virtual machine, our mothership virtual machine. So first we will now do the virtual machine test. The Antidetect system is not only hardware spoofing, it's also virtual machine which is protected from the virtual machine detection. Here in the tool folders we have a folder named VM test, and inside you can find 4 different tests. You can just find those tests in the internet. The first, we will start from the test which name it Machine ID from the Ironworks company. We will open it. You see, we can generate our machine ID and have something like that, but we will use it a little bit later when we will create few clones and we'll test it inside the clones. Now we will set this detect virtual machine and click generate machine ID. So the first test was passed. So Ironworks software, Ironworks machine ID, now detect that we using virtual machine. Go forward. After that, we will do the test named Alkhasser. You can find those tests in the GitHub. Open those tests. Oh. Some kind of problem, I don't know. Okay, we will try to open it a little bit later. Now we will open the Puffish. Also, you can find the test Puffish on the GitHub. And now we will check the virtual machine detection. We need to wait a few seconds. So now you see there is 2 options was traced. The first, checking the difference between CPU timestamp counters. Those option means that our core inside the virtual machine was started not in the same time. It's not the really important thing, and even if you will get the puffish test on the real PC, in most of them you will also see that the difference between CPU timestamp was detected. The second you can see operating system uptime. You will see this with the function getTickCount. This option is also not so important, and this option will disappear after the 10, 12, 15 minutes of the virtual machine will be online. So now I will stop the video for 10 minutes, and after that we will do the same test, and you see that the virtual machine with the getTickCount function will be not detected. So now, after 15 minutes gone, we can do the puffish test one more time. So open the puffish and wait. Wait a few seconds. So now, as you see, there is no kind of detection by the getTickCount function. There is in puffish test, there is only one detection by the difference between the CPU timestamp. So it's not important when you use the browser, but if you use the software, you can just set a little bit different settings to defeat this detection. So now we close it and open our almost the last test, VMDA64. You can also find this test on the GitHub. So we'll click yes. Nothing detected. Nothing detected by the test VMDA64. Click OK. So now we only Alcacer was left, and he didn't. I guess I know the trick. We'll transfer it to the desktop and open it. Yeah, that works. So now we see we have one detection here and two detection here. The test is going, so we will need to wait. When we wait, we will take attention on those detection. The first is checking hard disk size using VMI, and the second is checking disk size using get disk free space x function. That means the virtual machine was possibly detected by the analysis of our free space. If you don't remember, the free space was 65 gigabytes inside our virtual machine. But if you will work with the browsers, you can do nothing with those detections. But when you work with some kind of local software, you need to defeat them. So now I will explain you how to defeat them. When you create the virtual machine, just for example, v10 base 2, yeah, base 2. Go next, and on this step, you must select the fixed size. What is the difference between dynamically allocated and the fixed size? When you will select the dynamically allocated, the size of the hardware is the maximum limit which will be used from your physical hard drive. So that means if you just install the operating system, it will not use the 65 gigabytes of your physical hard disk drive. It will use only 20 gigabytes, 20, 21, 22. But if you select the fixed size, that means each virtual machine and each clone will take 65, for example, yeah, on the next step here. Each clone and each virtual machine will take 65 gigabytes on your physical hard disk drive. And the creation process, so the clone process, will take a time. Will take about the 5 till 10 minutes, depending on the speed of your hard disk drive. So, for the work with the browsers, with the websites, I recommend you to use the dynamically allocated. If you work with some kind of local software, you need to use the fixed size. That's the difference. So now we will go to our virtual machine and see about the next detection. I think we need to wait a little bit more. When we will wait, we will go to the software folder, which names tools. Here we have few folders and a few shortcuts of the application. First, about the folders. The first folder, anti-telemetry leak. What does it mean? Here we have three kind of rules for the German operating system, for the Russian operating system, and for the English operating system. And the bat file, with those bat file, we can choose the operating system language and start those scripts. What is those scripts? Those scripts, those firewall rules, will delete the standard Windows firewall rules for the system services, system applications, and much more, and they route all traffic through the proxy. So if you don't know what is it, just simply don't use it. I will show you a little bit later how to use it, but don't use it if you don't know what is it. The next software, next folder is Bleach Beat. Bleach Beat, it's the software, open source software, like CCleaner, but for me is a much friendly interface than the CCleaner, and it's free. So if you need to use it, you can just put the folder on your desktop. You see? And I will show you now, for example, we have the fully blank operating system, which was installed just 20 minutes ago. We'll now set the start. We'll select everything here. Yeah. You see how it works. Also the Internet Explorer, the system. Now we select Windows Defender and the Windows Explorer. Yeah. And the passwords. Okay. So now we click the preview. You see, we have a lot of temporary file and even the Internet Explorer, some kind of Internet Explorer files. So if you want, we can just clean it, just right here, clean, and our operating system was cleaned. But our Alcacer test was stuck. I will restart it. So okay, we have a few errors, but don't mind it. So now we can close it and go to the Explorer and to our Antidetect Guest Editions, to the Tools folder. So the next folder, the third folder, is the VM test. We already know what is inside, the virtual machine tests. After that, we have a few software. The first software was created by me, by Vektor T13. It names Anti-OS. What does it mean? It's very important. It's a very important tool to set up our virtual machine. Why? The Antidetect system, it's the hardware emulator. That means, for example, in the browser or in the operating system, we can change only the hardware-dependent identity and browser fingerprints, and the hardware and software-dependent identity and the browser fingerprints. But, for example, the fingerprint, which was dependent only from the software, only from the operating system, and the Windows ID, we cannot spoof with the Antidetect project. So that means with the Anti-OS software, we can spoof the identity, the telemetry data, the Windows ID, you see this, yeah? And the license and the browser fingerprints, we can spoof it inside the virtual machine. So this software is must have and must be always on your desktop inside your virtual machine. We go to the Alcacer. Now we see everything was good, so nothing detected except the hard disk free space. So if we will set the fixed size of the virtual machine hard disk, even those two detections will disappear and everything will be good. So now we will close the Alcacer test. I think we have more than enough tests, and it's the good evidence that our virtual machine was protected and protected from the virtual machine detection. So let's go forward. The next software is Attribute Changer. Attribute Changer number 9 is the software to change the folder and files creation and modification time. It's important for a few kind of license, few kind of software inbuilt anti-fraud system. So we will just install it, and after we install it, you can select any folder. Just for example, it will be the Windows. Yeah, here. Press the right mouse button, and you see change attributes. So you can change the data of the Windows creating folder, of the program files creating folder, of the user creating folder. It's not so really important, but in some cases it will be very useful. We will delete from the desktop the necessary things. And after that, go to the tools. Open it, tools. Yeah. The next is the little reg file, which will disable automatic driver updates. In some cases, if you will install the Windows with the internet, each time when you will create the clone, the Windows will try to install the proprietary drivers. That means you will, in some cases, have the black screen when you create the clone. To defeat it, you must use this little file. Just click right mouse button and select merge. After that, the Windows automatic driver update will be disabled, and there is no black screen in the future. The next software was named Nettime. Nettime is important software which can synchronize our data and our time inside the virtual machine. It's very important to use with the proxy. When we change the IP address, we must also synchronize the data, the time zone, and the time. You can see this here in the tray, but it's running, but it's no internet, so there is no connection. Next software is the OpenVPN. No, I don't know. Maybe any of you know what's OpenVPN. What's OpenVPN is, so we just install it. If you will need to use the VPN profile inside your virtual machine. The next software is Proxyfire. We will also open it and install. Proxyfire is usually used to use proxy inside the virtual machine. We will now launch it, continue evaluation, and we will now do a little bit setup. The first, we go to Profile and to the name resolution. We will turn it off, detect DNS settings automatically to resolve the hostname through proxy. If you will not do this, that means the DNS IP address will be of your home internet provider. When you turn it off and the resolve hostname through proxy will be enabled, that means all DNS queries will be sent from the proxy. And after that, you must pay attention about this DNS processing on the UDP level. The point is that the proxifier didn't proxy the UDP requests. So that means in some cases, when you will try to spoof the WebRTC IP address, it will be blocked. So I recommend you to do this, disable, bypass all, and click OK. It can be, those settings can be used to retrieve your real IP address by the WebRTC queries via the UDP protocol, but we will talk about it a little later. So now we close the proxifier. The next software is the Python. Python is used in some cases to use additional scripts which you can find on my GitHub. You can install it, but in most cases now the full functionality of the scripts was built in the AntiOS, so you can just left it. And the last software, name it WinUpdate ShowHide, is the official Microsoft Corporation software. In those software we can see which updates Windows install in our system but hide it from us. You see, for now we do the test and there is no hidden updates to show. So everything was okay. Click close. So after that we will do the last thing. We will select Antidetect Windows Additions, click right mouse button, send to, and send to desktop. You will see there is a shortcut. When we will create the clone, first what we will need to do is the start Antidetect Windows Additions to install the drivers. So now our virtual machine, we will now empty the recycle bin. So now our virtual machine was fully set it up and ready to work. Many of my students asked me why we didn't install the browser right now to our mothership machine. I now tell you why. We cannot install the browsers, Chrome, Opera, or the Firefox. We cannot install it in the mothership because those browsers also have the telemetry data, and we must to install it each time we will create the new computer. Each time we will create the new identity. So now our machine is ready to work. So we go to the start menu, go here, and just shut down those virtual machine. Wait a few moments. Here. Okay. So now we can start to create the new identity. Let's start the creation of the new identity. So we have the mothership system. You see this? V10 base name is. Now we need to create another systems, but we don't want to waste our time to make the Windows installation, to make the setup and all of those unnecessary settings. What we need to do first? We will now do the clones. So press the right mouse button on the V10 base on our mothership system, and after that we will select the clone. You see this, yeah? So we have a few options. First of all, we need to do, we will create the clone name. Let it be V10 base clone 1. After that, we must to choose the clone type, full clone or linked clone. If you will work with the browser, only with the websites, you can select linked clone. If you will work with the local software, you need to select the full clone. Now, for example, I will create the linked clone, and also we must check this. Reinitialize the MAC address of all network cards. We need this also to spoof our MAC address, the address of our network card. So we now create the press the clone button. Yeah, you see, it takes maybe 1 second. We will do the same thing. Oh, sorry. No. Power off. We will now do one more clone. It will be clone 2, also the linked clone. And clone 3, also linked clone. So now we created 3 clones. Each clone was already created with the spoofed hardware. So that means the hardware, the BIOS and the CPI tablets are different in those clones. Let's start. We will start first clone. Remember, do not take attention about those console. It's my debug console. So now our clone started. Yeah, you see this? The second one. And the third one. So the first clone was already loaded. So now we will check our hardware. How can we do this? I will set the new resolution, something bigger, for example this. Keep settings, the same here. And the same here. So now we have 3 clones of our mothership system. They looks like they are similar, but we will go to my computer, to the Explorer, yeah, go here, the tools folder, VM test, and machine ID. You already remember this software. So we started. After that we go, we will generate machine ID right now in the first clone. After that we go here in the second clone. The same operation. You see? And in the third clone. So you see this, the Ironworks software, which is created to identify the user computer, identify each our clone like a separate machine. Also, we can do just something kind of that, msinfo32, yeah, the system information, check here, the same here, msinfo32, yeah, And in the third clone, you see that all of the CPU, motherboard, and any other devices have the different identity. You can also do some another tests if you want. I will now close it. So now, after we check this, that the hardware was changed, we will now start install our drivers. You remember, as I told you earlier, each clone was created with the new hardware. So now we need to install drivers. We go to the Explorer. No, we don't go to Explorer. We already have this shortcut. You see? Click on them. Antidetect Windows Additions. Click yes. After that, click next, next, left all, and install. But in this case, we will have a little problem. You see this? If you will have this kind of problem, I will tell you now why it happens. It happens because inside our virtual machine, we also need to enable the test mode. If we will not enable the test mode, the drivers will not install. So you can do this inside the mothership system. It will be more useful, but I need to show you this. I need to show you what happens if you will not enable the test mode inside the virtual machine. So the operation is the same, the CMD, and after bcd edit, set test signing on. Many of people do the same error. They type not the test signing, they type test singing. So pay attention about it. After that, we will go to restart and just wait. The same operation we will do on another clones. CMD. Go to restart. And the third. Yeah. So that's it. Everything is okay. Go here. We don't have a configuration file, so we just click OK. Let's start again. Antidetect Windows Additions, click yes, next, next, and install. So, as you see, everything is okay. When you see this attention, you will need to click install this driver software anyway. Click it. You must click it 3 times. Sometimes 2 times. Yeah, everything is okay. So now we can reboot, but we will not do reboot right now. Go here, the second machine, the same operation. You see in the right corner we have the test mode label. The same operation, and in the third machine also the same operation. Install, install, and here the same operation. Okay, so now we can reboot, but you must remember and you must understand that our hardware is different inside those 3 clones. But our Windows identity are the same. So what we need to do right now? Right now we will open the anti-OS GUI, which is located on our desktop. Open it. I will. And go to the first menu, the telemetry. We will click a few times randomize all, and after that save all. And also we will not do the reboot right now, so we click no. After that we go to the Windows IDs, randomize all. You see this, yeah? Save all and no restart. Go to the license, randomize all, save all, no restart. Go to the browser fingerprints. We will select the 1080 Ti, click save, and after that we will click no. And the last one, we have the SCSI serial numbers. We'll randomize it, yeah, you see, and click save all. So now, after we randomize our telemetry data, Windows ID, the browser fingerprints, and the SCSI serial numbers, we can restart. So we click yes. The same operation will be on our second clone. Randomize all, save all, no, Windows ID, randomize, save, no, license, randomize, save, no, browser fingerprints, select GPU, no, SCSI serial number, randomize all, save all, and click yes. Or restart anyway. And the same operation will be on our third clone. Yes. Randomize all, save all, no, Windows ID randomize, license randomize, browser fingerprints, and the SCSI. Save all and yes. Okay, that's it. You can start work. But if you remember, we have no internet because our network cable is ejected. So now we need to decide what kind of network connection we need to use. I tell you now, for example, what we can use. We can use the OpenVPN connection, we can use proxy, or we can use the direct connection to the our host machine. For example, I will now show you how to use the OpenVPN, proxy, and the direct. So if you need to use OpenVPN, you need to get the OpenVPN config file, where you can get it from the host machine, because inside those virtual machine we have no internet. How to input the file to the virtual machine? First, after we create our virtual machine, after we install the drivers, we have those options. Shared folders. You can do this shared folder if you need to input the files, or you can use just a shared clipboard if you will try to, for example, input the text data of the OpenVPN. I will now show you how it works. We will just click bidirectional. Yeah. Here we will create the new file. The file name doesn't matter. And test data, what time is it now? 245. Yeah, we'll copy that, and on our host system we will create any text document, paste it. As you see, everything works okay. After that, maybe some kind of like that. We'll copy it, go to the virtual machine, and you see everything works great. So you can just input the text data of your OpenVPN config file. And after that, you need just create the text document and save it in the .ovpn extension. After that, you go just here, press right mouse button, import file, and show the path to your configuration file. It's the first. Also, you must pay attention about the screen resolution. As you see now, our screen resolution is very low, but we have a lot of different resolution. You can change it here, for example. You see this, yeah? Keep changes, or you can just go to View, Virtual Screen 1, and change it here as you wish. But there is a one little trick. How to decide which screen resolution you need to choose. I will now show you. To decide what screen resolution you need to choose, we go to our browser and we go to the website gs.statcounter.com. On those website, you can see the global stats of the whole world. So we will go here and we will select the screen resolution stats. So now, for example, we will select the desktop. The whole stats from the world means that 25% of the people in the world from the desktop computers choose this screen resolution. Also, we can choose it about for example, United Kingdom. Yeah, the people in the United Kingdom prefer this resolution. So if we will work with the United Kingdom IP address, we will choose this resolution. You must be careful and you must do all the best to make your identity like the real user. Because we are doing just a test, I will set this resolution. Also, sometimes you will not be able to set those resolutions. You can only change with maybe those resolution and just a few of them. How to fix it? If you can see those resolutions, you need to go to the Antidetect public manager and you need to open the log file. Just click right mouse button, show log. You see there is a big log file. I'll now try to make it a little bit smaller. Yeah, that's okay. And we go to the top. We need to find the strings, name it OpenGL info. Yeah, you see them? So you must found the string OpenGL info, render SPU, GL vendor, and you must find here your GPU. Sometimes if you will use, if you have in your laptop or desktop PC two different GPUs, sometimes the GPU which is inside the CPU will start, and if it happens, you will not be able to turn on the hardware acceleration and You will not be able to spoof the canvas fingerprint, the WebGL fingerprint, and many others. How can you find that your GPU was good and everything works okay? You must look here on those strings. Host does not support OpenGL extensions, and if you see something like here, just maybe 5, 6 those extensions, everything was okay. But if you see here about the 20, 30 of not supported extensions, so that's very bad. And also, if you will inside the extensions find something like, for example, this, yeah, you see, vertex shader, fragment shader, that means if it's not supported, so it will be not supported inside the virtual machine, and you will not be able to use the custom screen resolution, and you will not be able to use the hardware acceleration inside your virtual machine, inside your browser. Also, if you will work with the dedicated server, you must install Antidetect only on the dedicated server, not the VPS, not the VDS, only the dedicated server. And this dedicated server also must be with a dedicated GPU. It's very important. If you will work with the motherboard GPU, for example, Matrox or ASPEED, you will not be able to use those hardware acceleration and use those resolution. And also, one more important thing: even if you have the dedicated dedicated server with the GPU, you will also not be able to use hardware acceleration if you will connect via the RDP protocol. So that means if you connect from your PC to the dedicated server with the RDC, with the RDP protocol, remote desktop connection, or with the remote desktop protocol, the default acceleration will be software. The Microsoft tell us that there is no solution to have hardware acceleration with the RDP protocol. So if you want to work with the dedicated server, you must install VNC. It's very important. If you will install VNC, that means on the dedicated server will be available to use the dedicated GPU, for example, GeForce 1050, yeah, and something newer, and everything will be okay. So after that, we will close. Each situation is on any another clones, but I will now tell you on the second clone how to work with the proxy. Also select some good resolution here, yeah. You remember we have the proxifier. If you want to use the proxifier, you must take care of your firewall. How to take care of your firewall? You must go here, this PC, open Guest Additions, go to the Tools, Anti-Telemetry Leak, and start from the admin, run as administrator, run the start file. After that, you need to select your language, your operating system language. For example, it will be 3. And after that, I will show you what happens. We will now go to the control panel, or to the Windows Defender settings. Here, advanced settings. You see here, outbound connections are allowed. Inbound connections, you see how many rules are enabled. You see this? It's Xbox, Skype, OneNote, MyOffice, Cortana, and many others. So now I show you what happens if you will use this anti-telemetry leak file. We select here, language USA, English USA, and press enter. Yeah? We see OK, press any key to continue. Also press enter, and after that we go to the advanced settings one more time. You see, outbound connections was blocked, inbound connections you see those little lists. Do you remember how big is it? Now it's just few rules, and all the traffic will goes through the proxifier. So that means if you will input here in proxifier, we go from proxifier, in the profile proxy servers, if you will add here the proxy server, everything will go through the proxy. All the traffic, all the software, on all of the system services and applications will go traffic only through the proxy. If you will not want to do this, you can just go here and select here, select Windows Defender Firewall, Action, and restore default policy. After you click Git, you see the default policy was restored, and you again see the lot of rules. So now we will close it, close here, and we will not do right now some OpenVPN or some proxy server. We will now just check our browser fingerprints. For example, I will go to the Microsoft Edge. Yeah, we have no internet, so we must enable it. Press right mouse button on those monitors and click Connect Network Adapter. Here, here, and here. Yeah, you see. Okay. So we not want to share our connection. No. So now we will test our browser fingerprints inside the browser. For example, it will be Google Chrome. You must wait because it's extremely slowly. Yeah, now we're inside the Google, just Chrome. So we start the setup. And do the same action on the another clones. If we do everything good, the browser fingerprints will be different on each clone. And the last one. Okay, so now we can start our check. We go to the website, which name it Browser Leaks. browserleaks.com. The same here. And here we have not loaded. So now we will check our first fingerprint. It will be canvas fingerprint. We check it here on the first clone. We see them, yeah. And after that, we will check the canvas fingerprint on another machine. You see, there is the same, and we will now check it on the third. Here is the different, yeah. But on some of our machines, the canvas fingerprint didn't change. So we go to the anti-OS GUI and try to change the canvas fingerprint. We go to the hardware, browser fingerprint, go to the here and select, for example, GeForce GTX 1080 and click Save. Restart computer. We must wait. Also, it's very important that we didn't need to have 100% uniqueness. What does it mean? Just for example, Google, yeah? If you want to defeat the Google anti-fraud system, the Google has, for example, 300 million people per month. And if Google want to take the canvas fingerprints, that means each month Google have in his database 300 million of fingerprints. So if you try to defeat the Google anti-fraud, how do you think? How it will be if you will have 100% uniqueness of your fingerprint? Just think about it. Everything now works okay, you see? One fingerprint, the second fingerprint, and the third fingerprint. In the same browser, we have no installed extensions, you see? There is no extensions here. Any other suspicious extensions was. So, after you finish all of your work, you must turn off your virtual machine. But you don't need to do this by the start button and press here. You need to click here, the close, and not select the power of the virtual machine. Select the save the machine state and hardware. If you will do this this kind of turning off, the whole state of the virtual machine will be saved, and also your uptime, as you remember in the Puffish system, yeah, all your uptime will be also saved, and you will be able to start your work again from the point when you finish it. I will show you now how. We will select save, go here, yeah, you see now it's the save in progress. Yeah, our virtual machine was saved successfully, and we can, if we need to resume, we select it and click the start button. You see now it's restoring. The hardware didn't change, the uptime will be saved, all of your data will be saved also. So, you see, pretty simple. So that's it. I hope you will use my software. And if you have some kind of question, you can ask me in the Telegram channel or in the Telegram bot.
Just a regular, everyday, normal motherfucker. I don't like margarine, I much prefer the taste of butter. I'm just a regular, everyday, normal motherfucker. My favorite movies as a kid was Superman and Ghostbusters. I'm just a regular, everyday, normal motherfucker. I have a heart